Hey folks, my name's Andy. I'm an engineer at Pallantir, but I'm also a language learning nerd focused on improving my German skills. Today, I'm going to walk you through my own private Pallantir AIP project where I have 6 different AI agents and 7 different automations that are orchestrating an end-to-end language learning academy for me that helps me focus on exactly my own language learning goals, no more, no less. And it's been the single biggest helper to me in my language learning journey over the years. And I'm super excited to pop the hood for you. So let's dive in. Great. So here we are in my language learning cockpit, which is really the centerpiece of my personal AIP-driven language learning academy. Here, I can see all of my AI teachers and how they've graded my various bits of homework. I can understand what my AI teachers think of my skill level and where I need to improve. And I can see even how my Language Learning Academy operation managers, other AI agents, see my current performance and skill level, as well as different metadata about how much I've learned and how much I've processed. And the coolest part about all of this is that I only log into this view about once a week. Otherwise, I'm learning fully offline, and my AI agent Language Learning Academy is handling all of the complexity online and just emailing me exactly what I need on a given day to improve my skills. That's some pretty cool stuff, right? Let's get a level down and take a look under the hood at exactly what these AI agents are actually doing and how they're orchestrating amongst one another to drive the outcomes that I need in my language learning journey. Great. So here we are in an AIP application called Solution Designer, where I've put together a schematic so that you can understand how I have orchestrated all of these AI agents and automations to achieve the language learning goals that I need. I'm going to walk through this in basically 3 steps for you. First, we're going to take a look at some of the core objects and application objectives. Then we're going to look at how the total application suite is managing the grading of my homework, managing the submission of my homework, and so forth. So basically, how is it handling inbound information from me? And then we're going to look at an outbound side, how a series of agents and automations are pushing new homework and new study ideas to me directly. And what all of this does is it comes together into a single kind of raison d'etre for why we are using AIP to orchestrate our entire learning process. Cool, let's dive in. So to begin with, we spoke about kind of the core objects and application objectives. And I'm basically running this entire application off of 4 main objects: a language object, German, vocabulary terms, words that I'm trying to learn, homework assignments, and homework submissions. So these 4 objects are really the pivot points that are allowing me to both accept inbound information and grade it, and then push outbound information that's appropriate for my learning level. I want to take a look under the hood at that inbound side to give you a better sense of how the agents are structured and how the automations allow them to interact with each other in a really first-class way. So this is that universe on the inbound side. And it's super simple. We basically are taking a bunch of submitted assignments via, say, MP4 files, and we're taking 4 major steps that our AI agents are helping us with. We're processing those submissions. We're creating new potential vocabulary from those submissions. We're then grading the submissions to see how well did Andy do on his homework. And then finally, we're summarizing the state of learning. So we're kind of taking a meta view of the total amount of learning that I've done to get an understanding of like, where am I in my language learning journey? And all of these different AI agents are orchestrated via automations. And then they're writing back to the core ontology via actions, so that as my teacher, says, hey, you did a good job on that homework assignment, that's reflected back in the core ontology and can then be used downstream when creating new homework assignments for me. So it's a really virtuous cycle. Cool. So let's take a look under the hood at a couple of these different bits that I know that folks are going to be curious about. And the first thing I want to take a look at is one of these agents. So how are we actually building these agents in this language learning application? So here we are in AIP logic, which is my favorite place to build an AI agent. And this particular logic block is designed to grade my submitted homework. So determine, did Andy do well on that assignment? And it's actually super, super simple when you take a close look at it. What I'm doing is I'm actually just giving a particular homework assignment as input to this agent, and then I'm giving an LLM access to a prompt, what do I want it to do, as well as key information from the homework assignment, such as what was Andy's original prompt, and what did Andy say, what did Andy do, what was his response to that homework assignment. And then I'm asking the agent to simply provide commentary on where is Andy on this assignment, did he do well? And then give me a kind of like explicit grade, that's a B2 level response, and so forth. And this is really the crux of what this agent is doing, and it has easy access to the key information it needs from the homework assignment. What this agent is then doing on the back end is, after a little bit of processing, it's actually writing back to my ontology via actions the grade and the commentary that it determined was appropriate for my submission. And so this agent is going full circle. It's reading the response, and then it's writing back and saying, hey, you did well, or hey, you did poorly, to the core object in my central ontology that I was showing you previously. So that's super cool, right? Well, let's take a look at what happens after an individual assignment is graded by this agent. After this assignment is graded, this automation here, summarize state of learning, immediately triggers on its own. So let's take a look. Cool. So this summarized state of learning is actually going to run every time a new homework assignment is added with the filter status of completed. So literally that step I was showing you previously, it's marking my homework assignment as completed, and then it's immediately triggering this automation, which in turn runs this logic flow, summarize state of learning. And we can pop this open as well, just to get a sense of what's happening. Very cool. So this logic flow is another AI agent. And instead of grading an individual assignment, it's actually looking at my recent past of assignments I've submitted to determine how well am I doing at learning German overall. And if I pop the hood, again, it's conceptually very similar. We're asking an AI agent to look at my 6 most recent homework assignments and summarize my overall state of learning, my strengths and my weaknesses. And you can see this is what I'm asking for in my response: strengths, weaknesses, and grade. But interestingly, this agent, I'm giving it more information. I'm actually giving it access to my homework assignment object set so that it can run its process and look for those 6 most recent submissions and look at what was the assignment, what did Andy say, what was the teacher's response to that individual submission, so that it can create a summarized view of my performance across multiple submissions. And this is super, super cool because you saw in the previous agent, we were actually updating the homework assignment as the agent processed. And now we're again consuming those homework assignments by this agent. So this ontology that we're talking about here is actually orchestrating the entire flow, including, data and information, but logic and AI and automation orchestration and so on and so forth into a single pane. And this is what allows us, when we pop back, to our original solution designer, I showed you these 3 elements: grade the homework, summarize the state of learning, the logic behind that actually writes back to this core ontology and allows us, when we look at our application, to understand what's true about Andy's learning as of today. And all of this is orchestrated by the machine. So this is super, super, super powerful as a language learner. But the other side is equally powerful. We've just focused on how do we grade the homework. But the other side of the equation is how do we produce the homework for Andy so that he can actually get better. And similar to our grading process, we actually have a series of automations and agents that are creating assignments for us and then sending that homework directly to me in my email as a PDF document that I can then work off of offline before eventually creating a submission of my homework on the back end and re-triggering this entire virtuous cycle. And so for me, as a learner, the most important thing is that I get to focus on my raison d'être for everything you see here, which is studying German and trying to do so as much as possible offline, where the entire orchestration that I showed you is actually managed almost exclusively by the agents running their automations, and I only need to log in to my AIP platform every once in a while in order to understand how I'm doing and potentially make improvements. And this is a tremendous unlock for the way that I study German and the way that I'm growing in my free time and my hobbies. Cool. Now that we've been through all that, I think there's only one thing left to do. I'm going to take my pen, my paper, and go learn some German, because the AI agents have got the rest. Auf Wiedersehen!